Hey there guys, and welcome to another Lulsis video with me, Squirrel, and in this video I'm going to cover Rengar Jungle. So again, runes, masteries, skill order, item build, and jungle route, along with a nice little bit of gameplay. So we're going to start with the runes. This is my Lee/Rengar jungle page, so it has 9 AD marks, 9 armor seals, 9 magic resist glyphs, and 3 attack damage quintessences. You need the more attack damage ideally is better than Rengar AD based jungler. It'll help to clear more armor, so again you'll take less damage. I think armor shields are pretty standard on pretty much every single jungler, so those are most likely never going to change. However, the flat magic resist glyphs, I know that you maybe can change those for something else. I know I've seen some people go cooldown reductions, well, at least go some CDR, but I honestly don't think you need to. I'd rather just have the flat MR, or if you wish, MR per level. Then hey, I mean, you could even maybe put attacks. I wouldn't recommend putting attack speed in there, but again, it's another option. But those are the runes I like to go. Pretty straightforward. Nice magic resist, nice bit of armor, a nice bit of flat AD damage. And we're going to get into the masteries next. And as you can see on screen, we have the My Mastery page. Again, Lee Quinn, still 12-18-0, which is I think pretty standard for most champions now, especially junglers, especially assassin junglers like Rengar. So we've gone 12-18 for the reason of we get the nice attack, like added attack speed, spell vamp, vampirism, lifesteal, whatever you want to call it, and the added damage from oppressor from the ferocity tree, and then from the cunning tree we get the nice added damage from savagery, the damage from assassin, again added damage when challenging below 40% from merciless, the health and mana regen from dangerous game, precision which got buffed to give us more armor penetration and magic penetration per level, and of course Thunderlord's Decree as the keystone mastery. It's extremely, well, it's not overpowered, but it's the strongest keystone mastery you can possibly use, which is why on most champions, like, well, for me, for junglers and top laners and even some AD carries, I do just go purely 12-18-0 because it's the best you can possibly go in the current meta. So yeah, 12-18-0 for Rengar Jungle, and with the masteries now out of the way, I shall get into the skills. And now we're into the skills part of the video where, again, the images on the screen will cover them, so again you can pause, check exactly what the skills do, how they scale, while I explain them bit by bit anyway. So you can probably see on the screen currently at this moment, you'll see the passive and Rengar's Q. So Rengar's passive is, when he's in a bush or in stealth, Rengar will leap at the target when using his basic attack, which is clicking essentially. And then Rengar builds 1 point of ferocity with each ability he uses on enemies, and then when he reaches 5, Rengar's abilities become empowered, granting their bonus effect. So every ability other than his Q, W, and E have an empowered effect. And what this means is, once you've managed to hit 5 stacks, you will mainly want to use your E, because the E, when it's not empowered, is essentially a slow, but when it's empowered, it actually roots them in place for a specific amount of time, and again it does a bit of damage. So essentially when you're ganking, you want to have minimum 3 stacks of ferocity. You don't need to have full. The reason for this is, if you have at least 3 and you have all of your abilities ready on cooldown, you'll try to go in, you'll use your E for a slow, because when it's not empowered it's still a slow, so you'll get that off. And then your W, since it's an AoE, as long as you're close enough, you can use your W, which will then give you the 5 stacks. Then your A you can use right away again, which will then root them in place, and you can still get a kill. So you don't necessarily need 5 stacks of ferocity when you go for a gank. The closer to 5, the better. But I think if you go in with if you go in with 2 or less, I think it's not going to work as well. So better to have 3 or more. When you hit 6 and you have your ult, it'll work extremely well. But anyway, Savagery of the Q is basically, it's Rengar's main ability, so you'll always take Q first in the jungle because the next basic attack within the next 3 seconds it'll deal a certain amount of damage, and of course it scales off physical damage. And then when it's empowered, it also grants attack attack speed and 10% attack damage for 5 seconds. So, and the good thing is, with every single ability for Rengar, it'll scale with his attack damage and in the Empowered Q's case, attack speed. So, that's pretty decent for that. At level 2, for when I'm clearing the jungle personally, I prefer to go W. Yes, it means I won't get my E to have a slow or anything on the creeps, but I'd rather have the heal in the jungle, just because I think it's better. So your W will give you a bit of heal, and it also gives you a bit of bonus armor and measures that you'll see on screen. So I think it's better. Then obviously level 3, you'll have Bola Strike, which will allow you to then gank successfully. As soon as you hit 3 and you have all 3 abilities, it's very, very easy to gank as Rengar, because it's literally get 2 or 3 stacks of ferocity. Then as long as you land the slow, it's like, as long as you, if you're not 6 and you haven't got ult, you have to land your E for the slow, so your lane partners can then join you and try to get some more CC and lock down the target completely. If you're going in there without your E on cooldown, or without enough ferocity stacks to get your empowered E, it's just not going to work, so just don't bother. So that's pretty much how that'll work. And then obviously your ult, which is the Thrill of the Hunt, you will stealth yourself for 7 seconds, and after a 1 second delay to 3 seconds of taking damage, you can jump on an enemy and insta-burst them down. It also gives you a nice bit of attack speed, and the good thing is, when you're in the brush, it's going to be so much easier. So so say you've just finished doing your second red buff, or camp after your second red buff, and you've hit your level 6 and you want to gank a lane. Now, as long as your lane hasn't got, you know, your enemy pushed right underneath their turret, because that's, just don't turret dive as Rengar unless the turret's like 10 HP, just don't do it. So unless, again, your target is right underneath the turret, you basically want to, you can have 2 or 3 stacks, ult in, jump on them, and ideally with Rengar's damage, plus if you're it doesn't matter if you're ganking top, mid or bot, because you should in theory have enough damage with Rengar to kill somebody at this point, because you're an assassin, you're going to pretty much one-shot people later on. And the good thing about this is you're going to pop ult, jump in, empowered E, which will then put them in place, then Q, and then W, and then again when they come off rotation. But the good thing is with Rengar's ult, when you come out of stealth from your ultimate, you will generate 5 ferocity over 5 seconds. This is very important, so just be extremely cautious with this, because you might think you'll go in, you'll gank, and it might not be successful because you've not managed to lock down the target, and you might think, oh no, my ult's running off, you know, gotta run away. Just don't forget you're going to generate that ferocity, so you generate the ferocity back up, you can either Q to get the killing blow, or you can A them in place a second time. You've got, as long as you've got your ult, and enough abilities to get 1 empowered E off, the first time around, when you gank, you're going to have at least 2 chances to root somebody in place with the empowered E. Because if you can't root the target in place, there's no point ganking. It's literally pointless. I've seen so many Rengar ganks where they don't land the normal E, and they don't land the empowered E to slow them / root them in place. If you don't do that, you're pretty much, there's no point you running in with ult, using your empowered Q on somebody, because they're probably, if they have flash or an escape or a support or even wards, because there might be a teammate waiting there, they're just gonna run away from you. So just honestly don't bother, just wait until you can empowered E somebody and it'll work much better. Now that we've covered all of the skills, we're going to go in and cover the item build next. And now we're into the item build portion of the video as Jungle Rengar. So again, you're still going to go Machete, 3 health potions, pretty standard, it's the best thing to go. Don't go refillable health potion, just don't do it, it's not worth it unless you're very practiced and you know exactly what you're doing. So please just don't do that. So you're going to go for Tracker's Knife, damage item as per usual with most AD junglers now, because it gives you the 2 free wards, which is very good, and allows you to take a sweeper. Or blue trinket, I guess, if you prefer, but I like sweeper to be able to get vision and clear wards. So you're going to get that. Next item you're going to get, for me personally, is a Ghost Blade. The Ghost Blade passive to get the added attack speed, and then CDR and the damage it gives. I think it works really well, because along with the fact you're going to have Lucidity Boots, plus your jungle item, which also gives 10% CDR, The Ghost Blade's going to give another 10%, so you've got 30% CDR as Rengar, who doesn't use mana. That's fantastic. You don't really need to hit any higher than 30, you don't need to hit the 40% cap or the 45% cap if you choose that mastery. I think 30% is perfectly fine, but the damage combined from the jungle item plus Ghost Blade alone is going to be enough to one-shot somebody. It's going to be... You're going to laugh at how quickly you're going to one-shot somebody. But after that, a lovely bit of lifesteal and another active won't hurt that much. It's a Hydra, Ravenous Hydra. Nice bit of lifesteal within the build. It's pretty, like, those first 3 to 4 items are pretty standard on Rengar. You know, Lucidity Boots, Jungle Item, Ghost Blade, Hydra. Those 4 items are probably what you're always going to buy first. So any of those first 4 items you're always going to get. It doesn't really matter what order you get them in. Of course, you want to have your Jungle Item done first, and then maybe your Boots, if you prefer. And then you can go for either Hydra first, or Ghost Blade first, or whichever. I prefer Ghost Blade because I think it's more effective personally, but you can do either way around. You still have those 4 items. And then for me, obviously you can see on screen you've got things like Black Cleaver there, and yes, I know you'll go for the CDR cap, so be careful what you pick. You have Infinity Edge, you have Trinity Force, Sterix Gauge, and Malmamodius, depending on what kind of team you're against. Sterix Gauge I think's not a bad one on Rengar because of the nice added health, the shield, and the AD it does give, plus the fact since you're going to be jumping into possibly 3, 4, 5 people, depending on who you want to assassinate if you can. You may just survive that little bit longer, so it's a nice added bonus. Now I know people be thinking, why would you ever want to get any tank items on Rengar? He's meant to, you know, one-shot people. Well, those 4 items, and with how strong Rengar is, you're still going to do that. If you want to go and build more damage, maybe stick a Bloodthirster in there. Blade of the Ruin King, it got nerfed to shit. I don't like people building it, so I'd recommend you don't. If you still want to build more damage, by all means you can. But I think a Sterix Gauge isn't a bad 5th item to have, because it does give that added bit of AD and a bit of tankiness, which is decent for Rengar. Then if you're still against 1 or 2 APs, your 6th item could be that Hex Drinker / Malmamodius, because it'll work pretty well. However, a decent one for Rengar against 2 or 3 ADs is going to be Dead Man's Plate, because the nice passive is going to give you, like, can you imagine Dead Man's Plate and the Ghost Blade plus your ult? That added movement speed will be crazy, plus the fact you're going to jump out of brushes. You're going to easily be able to catch somebody, so it shouldn't really be a problem. And then again, if you're against some APs and you don't want to get like CC luck since you haven't got Mercury Chads, although you can get them if you feel like you're going to get CC too much later on in the game. You can buy a Banshees, not a problem. You can buy Spiritual Visage, again not a problem. And again, if you do buy Spiritual Visage, it will put you at the 40% CDR cap, so do bear that in mind. So any of those items I feel are pretty decent. Now, like, I wouldn't bother with, you know, likes of Frozen Heart, Warmog, Sunfire Cape. I don't really think they're that decent or around. I know people are thinking, but none of your builds have Randy and Zoman in them. There's a very good reason for that. When stuff like Sterix Gauge and Dead Man's Plate and Thornmail are in there, I don't like Randy and Zoman or Frozen Heart. That's just me personally. I don't see a lot of people build the item anymore because it's just utter trash compared to what's available, so no point, don't do it. And then for final build, it's pretty standard really. The AD jungle item, Lucidity Boots, Ghost Blade, Ravenous Hydra, and then I've gone at the end for like a kind of mix of both where they've got 3 ADs, but due to say they might have stuff like a Braum, or like they have 2 or 3 lots of CC in their team, say like Braum, Vayne, and then some CC from mid and top, but perhaps even the jungler if it goes tanky like Zac or Sejuani, or yes, I know you never really see those, but they're just examples. But if you have a team that still have a decent bit of CC, if you want to jump in with your ult and know you're going to block at least one ability, like for example, if you're going against say a Zaraka for example, they're going to get the mark when you're close to them. So she might put her slowdown right beneath your feet, and if she's the one you're wanting to kill, that's going to stop you from instantly doing any damage, and you're going to come out of stealth right beside her or beside 2 or 3 enemies, and you're probably going to die. So Banshee's Veil and Dead Man's Plate, it's not bad if you're against a sort of mixed team. Again, if you're against a more AD, you can stick Dead Man's Plate and Sterix Gauge in there, or if you're against more of an AP team, you can stick Hex Drinker and Banshees in there. Again, it's purely up to you. The items that I've listed are what I recommend. Again, just think about it depending on what team comp. Obviously I'm not going to know what team comp you're against, which is why I've made a wide variety of items available for you to use. So those are the items and the final item build that I will usually go on Jungle Rengar. Again, if you feel like I'm missing something, you can always feel free to leave it in the comments, but otherwise I think those are perfectly fine. And due to the last bit of the video now, it's going to be the lovely jungle route plus some lovely footage. And welcome to the jungle route portion of the video. This time like I'm going to try and do from now on, it's going to have lovely footage there, instead of an ugly old image that I dragged off of Google Images. With Rengar, I like to primarily start at the Krugs if I can, because I prefer to have a red buff start rather than blue, because red buff is far more beneficial to Rengar in my opinion. So I'd rather start at the Krugs. Smiting the Krugs gives you the nice stun as well, so I'd rather go Krugs, then go the red buff, and then go to blue buff, and then see when I'm level 3 if I can get crab and gank, or just gank and then get the crab afterwards. It doesn't really matter, but getting the crab is always beneficial for the added gold, the lovely health that will give you back, and it also gives you vision. So that's the basic route. If you want to tweak it out so slightly, you can go for, say, Krugs, and then if you want to wait for your smite to come back up, you could go Raptors, and then your smite will be back up, then go red buff, then go to blue buff, and then see if you can gank somewhere. Ideally with Rengar, you're gonna, I know people might say, oh, he's not good at gank until roughly level 6, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. In a way, yes, but you still want to try to be aggressive, get in as many ganks as you can, because hey, what way better than to farm champions, right? So you may as well try and get in the junglers, try and get in the enemy jungler's face if you can. Obviously, do bear in mind, depending on what jungler you're against, you may win, you may lose the matchups, just because if you think you can invade and kill the enemy jungler, or do some kind of weird cheese, then go for it, because Rengar is rather strong. However, if you know in your head you shouldn't do it, just don't do it. Just farm up, get 6. If you see ganking opportunities, always go for them, rather than constantly farming, because if you see your top laner, like the enemy top laner is full, if your top laner is half HP but the enemy top laner is full HP, but you're level 3 or 4, you've got enough ferocity stacks to make a gank, then go for it, because even if it's warded, if he's close enough to any of the bushes, or if you can like flash E and ruin him in place, you should roughly get a kill, as long as your top laner is not like, well, 1, not blind, 2, not an idiot, and 3, he actually does damage and isn't a tank like Sion, Malphite. Like, don't gank tank top lanes. That's just my preference. I'd rather you don't gank like a Malphite versus, I don't know, a Sion lane for example. I'd rather get in the jungler's face, or try to gank mid or bottom, because roughly right now seems to be like very AD carry focused, and obviously AP mages got shafted, and tanks are also back for top lane with TP now. So what I would suggest doing is, yes, get to level 3 or 4 depending on how quickly and how well you can farm. Look for a gank, try to pull off a few ganks if you can. If they don't work, if you try 2 or 3 ganks and you feel like they're not working out, you're not blowing summoners, you're not getting kills, or you're just getting counter ganked all the time, just then try and hit 6 as quickly as you can, because once you hit 6, Rengar is a ganking machine. He is ultimately one of the best at level 6 due to the fact the invisibility, the speed boost, the added range you get from jumping out of bushes, etc. Because just think about it, when if you're level 6 and you know the enemy bot lane are maybe not that great, and your bot lane just need that like 1 or 2 kills on their side to really push in the lane and take full advantage, but say the Tribrush is warded, say the river's pink warded for example, no problem, you're level 6, you're Rengar, come up to the tier turret, second tier turret, pop your ult, run into the bush, and by the time like the enemy team realizes that you're there, it should be far too late, because you're probably gonna have, if you have a support like Braum or Leona or Thresh or a Blitz that can land a hook, land some CC, and then you jump in and add the additional CC for like the 1.5 second to 2 seconds, you're gonna one-shot the ADC and possibly get the support as well, and then maybe even snowball that into a dragon. And the even better scenario would be like if you're there to counter gank, like if you can get the perfect counter gank as Rengar, it's gonna be great, because it means you get 2 or 3 kills bot lane or mid depending on where it happens on the map. You can turn that into a dragon, you can turn that into getting more turrets. So again, my ultimate advice is get level 3 or 4 from your first clear, try to make a gank or 2 happen. If it doesn't happen, just go back, buy items, go back farming, hit level 6, and then just start ganking everywhere, because if you don't take advantage at level 6 as Rengar, then you shouldn't pick Rengar, because you can pretty much go anywhere on the map invisible and make a gank happen and make a play happen and get your team further and further ahead. But anyway guys, that has been my guide to Jungle Rengar in the current patch 5.24. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you do, feel free to give it a like, maybe leave a comment, tell me how you're getting on, and if you really like it, feel free to subscribe as well. Thank you guys, and I shall see you all next time.